Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50 to 50. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,252.25. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50 to 52. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,254.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,254.25. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50 to 50. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,250.75. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,249.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,248.25. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50 to 47. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,246.25. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,245.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at
Trading at Tuesday, April
5,245.75.
2nd. We're about 9 minutes past the opening bell.
Market had a big sell-off overnight, and a good 50 points plus, and we're still kind of biased to the sell side here. Sellers are jumping in. We see a lot of, on the volume delta profile, a lot of negative aggressive buying stepping in, continuing to push this market down. I'm looking for, I'm kind of following Carmine Rosado here, looking for some late pain, where late sellers are FOMOing in and sellers taking profit. So looking for some sort of quick counter trend reversal. But we got to wait till we find a base here and not step in on a running train.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,244.75.
5244 was my area of demand where buyers stepped in.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,244.25.
It's just bleeding right now.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50-42. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,242.5.
Good amount of volume today. This is a little bit more unusual compared to what we've seen. But I'm looking for an area where buyers are going to step in, sellers are really pushing down and just can't push any lower. That's when I'll start getting interested. So we have news at 7. So some news going on there. Let's check that out real quick. We have, so this is what area I have marked. What are we at? A 1 hour chart. I'm going to go down to 30 minutes. So I'm seeing demand down here from back on Wednesday, March 2nd. That's where buyers stepped in for that big move. So we're all the way back down to that area here. So I'm interested in this level, seeing if buyers step in, overtake the sellers, and we find support. Buyers come back up. We have this drop overnight from 52.92 to 290. It consolidated here yesterday and bounced around, and then we took that big drop. So that's where we're at right now. So we've probably one of the bigger moves. So let's go back to that. And we have news. We have news at what time? We have at 7. We have Jolt's jobs opening news, impactful news here in 18 minutes. So I'm looking for this to flatten out.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,243.75.
I'm looking for a lot of red delta, and then it not be able to push lower, volume to drop out at a certain level. It may even pop up and then push back down into that zone, and it holds. Then I'm looking to possibly go long there. Because you have to think of a seller right now. As a seller, you might have sold down up here, 53s, or I'm sure even higher, right? If you were a seller, you're looking to get out of the market now. After a 50-point drop, you're looking to scale out. And if you were a seller, to scale out, you end up have to turn around and buy to exit your position. So you turn into a buyer. So then we start having that step in place, that combined with other aggressive buyers looking for discount prices are going to step in as well. That would start moving the market. But then you have the last minute sellers that are like, hey,
ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.25.
So we have those that are still pushing the market down.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.25.
All right, I'm liking this buy-in. I'm gonna come in on a small contract. Probably should do a normal size. I don't know. I keep, yesterday was a bad day for me. I kept trying to reverse a drop. I kept thought I seen a bottom and kept getting stopped out. This was one of my not so great days, and it would have been a great day if I had stuck with it, because like it popped 2 minutes out of my stop loss, and like 2 or 3 ticks later it finally found the bottom. Saw some good indication. I just was already mentally fried and just didn't take it again. I had taken that trade like 3 or 4 times, tried like 4 times, and then on the 5th time it actually went for 15 points. It would have not only would have taken, wiped out all my losses, I would have had a little bit of a gain too. So that's just the way it is. But you have to stick with it. So it reminds me again, stick with my conviction. I may be wrong the first time or mistime the market, but if you stick with it and with your conviction, follow your plan.
Sellers at 50 to 44.
The mental toughness is being wrong a couple of times or mistiming it a couple of times, sticking with it and continuing to trade your plan. So I'm starting to see some buying step in. It's not quite there. Like we're seeing some basing at this 52.42, 52.43 level. But it could easily continue on down.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.75.
But ultimate target, and this is tough because we just came for such a low drop. I'm gonna have to gauge the market where I go. My ultimate target would be like 50% fib from that drop. Good morning, hope you are doing well. Again, I'm not this super experienced trader. I'm still learning, growing. I follow a lot of InvestiTrade, Carmine Rosado's plan, so I follow him. He has been a successful trader, probably 7-8 years. I think he just opened up a more advanced course, a revamping of his course, and a year-long mentorship. I would highly recommend it. I've considered getting into it. At this point, I feel pretty strong. I just got to work on a couple things to get more consistent. But I would highly recommend it. If you're serious, want to jump in, I've been
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50
probably
to
a little over 6
44.
months now. It's probably one of the, and I think a lot of times
Sweep
we're
ESM
following
for CME buyers at
YouTube
5,243.5.
in the world of the internet, sometimes we can be following almost too many people. I feel like we have too many voices in our head, and
Sweep
find
ESM
somebody
for
that
CME
you
sellers
trust,
at
that is transparent,
5,243.25.
it's real, showing both their losses and wins, showing exactly what they're doing, what their thought process is. Carmine does a great job of that, so I've pretty much found all of that with Carmine. However,
ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.75.
And then eventually, I do appreciate that Carmine does push the fact that you should, find your own style, right? You shouldn't trade after him. You shouldn't be looking for him to lean on him for call outs. And I do appreciate that with him. But with that said, it does help when you're following somebody that you can really lean on their knowledge and experience. He's got over 8 years, and their failures and lean on that, and not shortcut, but just shorten your failure rate, right? Learn some of the things. I mean, you're still gonna have to go through it, because that's sometimes the best way to learn is just to fail.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at
So that's why start small until you
5,243.75.
start proving to yourself success, and that's what I'm doing. I'm still pretty small on my trading, but I am trading with real money at this point, because I believe real money is probably one of the best learners. I want to feel my losses. I want to feel the wins. I want to feel the psychological effects, even if it's just small amounts. You know, even if it's only 30, 40, 50, 60 bucks of a loss, or my win's only 100, 150. All right, this market is still trying to find the bottom here. So Bookmap, I really enjoy it. I definitely invested in this. So I got the Global Plus plan. I think playback feature on the Global Plus is probably one of the biggest aspects of the reason why I got the Global Plus. Going back and be able to review my trades, going back to look at what you did, where you should have entered, or why you exited when you exited, it will instill a lot of confidence. I mean, there are times though that, you know, I'll go back and look at negative trades and like turn that day into a positive emotional, saying like, look, Zach, you made a couple mistakes here, but if you turn this around and if you would have taken it right here, you would have wiped out all your losses, right? So it changes your psyche when you can go back and play it through. It's almost like you're trading the day back over. You're getting a redo, mentally, psychologically, and it's super helpful. I also like the DOM Pro, which is this feature on the right, the depth of market by time of sales. I mean, Bookmap is great with the visualization, but I like the
Sweep
side over
ESM
here
for
because then I can
CME
see how fast
sellers
the
at
ticker
50
tape and
to
what my
41.
last contract is and my delta. All right, so we're still trying to find a bottom here. We're ticking down a little bit lower. I had a little small contract, but I am out because I got stopped out at 2-point stop loss here. So we're still finding a bottom. I was probably in a little bit early. I was thought I saw a bottom here because it's going sideways, but I'm liking
Sweep
this
ESM for CME
strong
sellers at
sell-off.
5,239.5. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,241.5.
This is a good sign for me. A big dip and then pop back up, so grab liquidity. That's a good one for me. So it's a risky long here, but I'm going to VWAP. I think it might come back down here and touch again, but I love when it grabs liquidity and goes the other way. So we have this tail off here on the delta, so the volume was really low.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at
So I got in at
5,243.5. Sweep ESM for CME
41.
buyers at 5,244.5.
And we are not far from news, but I like to step down, grabbing liquidity and the immediate push back up through it. Got my stop loss rate right around the 52.39. So it's 3-to-1. Here's my risk to reward. So I'm risking, oh, it's more than that, actually. It's almost 4-to-1. So just under 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio right now. I mean, it moved up so quick. I've gotten in a little bit earlier, but it moved up so quick. I got in here, 52.41. Now, the more conservative approach would be to wait till it comes back down and test this area again where sellers come in, because we got other people in the book trying to grab liquidity down here too, and then take the move up. But if it's such a strong move, and then if I'm going to positive by 3 or 4 points through news, I'm going to hold through news, and that's going to come in 5 minutes. That could, you know, propel that move even further. VWAP's all the way up here, 52.51. All right, I'm gonna turn my sound down, grab some coffee. Man, my own coffee now is probably better than anything I buy anymore these days, I think. I do, I'm not like consider a big coffee connoisseur, but I do my own French press coffee, and I do this like golden latte type of thing. So I put ginger and turmeric in there with a little bit of cream. Oh my gosh, so good. Pretty healthy for you too. Love it. Now I'm addicted to it. Like now when I go out to get coffee, I'm like, oh, get any type of
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,242.25.
I don't know, it's so good with some ginger and turmeric. It's called like a golden latte. I think Pete's was making it similar, and I was just like, man, I love this. I love like the Turkish coffee too, so it's a little bit of that Philharmonic kind of version of Phil's coffee. But I'm not going to spend $4 a day on coffee, right? So mine costs 50 cents at the most. All right, so we are seeing buyers trying to step in. But we're 2 minutes from news, so we're going to be bouncing around with news. It's like turbulence land. If you ever go to Vegas in the afternoon, flying into Vegas on an afternoon, oh, be like midday and it's sunny out and your plane is just bouncing around because of all the wind coming through the mountains. Like why is it bouncing so much? But yeah, we're gonna start feeling some turbulence. So this is fun. This is a nice, more fun day. Nice. I wouldn't call it nice, but it's a more exciting day with volatility going on. The last couple of days, last 2 days this week versus last week, it was just watching paint dry. We're 1 minute out from news. This might have been a good entry over here when it came back down into this 50-41 level. Took a bounce. I haven't even checked if Carmine's in. I'll check my Discord real quick. Oh,
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,246.25.
Same thing. Wow, that's great. I know it's great confirmation on my part when, you know, somebody that's been trading for a long time that you're following has actually took the same move. So we're starting to see the same thing. Now we're starting to see some massive push down.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50-40.
This kind of sucks. This market is really reacting negatively to this news. What happened here? We got pending. Still hasn't even out. So we're factory orders was better than expected, but that's low impact news. It's right at forecast, so not real big. So anyway, I'm glad I have my stop loss under. See how bumpy. Look at that turbulence. Now we're back up to the 45s. So I don't see this news, other than bringing volatility in, I don't see going to bring major impact on a direction. The news is going to make an impact on a direction. Okay, so he had the same target as me, 52.53. I mean, I love it when I'm the one that take the move first, and my mentor is, then I go look and he made the move. So that's always a good sign that I'm reading the market. I mean, his win rate's close to 70%, and he's getting about 4-1 usually. I mean, the guy's incredibly successful. And he talks about his losses too. I think yesterday he didn't have a winning day, or it was like break even, slight losing day. He does a great job of minimizing his losses too. And that's where I've got to grow into, is really minimizing the losses, being able to read and get out. But also not letting a winning trade, not pulling up my stop losses too quick when I see the market move. All right, so this is a strong move up now. Feel free to interact on chat.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,249.5.
Yeah, we're gonna bring some pain to the sellers right now. And then sellers are becoming buyers and losing interest. I might need to
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50-49.
Take profit up even more. It was such a strong move. I'll stick with my target, and one of the things I've been trying to look at is a strong retracement, find another structure, and then, you know, jump in the market again on the way up. If I feel like if the market's showing a very strong momentum in one direction or another, is to be able to take the move up, take profit, look for a retracement, find structure, enter in again with small risk on the outside, and take that continuation up. So that's something I've still working on.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,250.25.
So finding a little bit of support at this VWAP. This buying is strong right now. It's going to break through it at this way it's going right now. Let's see, I was up 8 or 9 points.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,246.75.
So I'm not going to let this trade go red on me after it went so far green. So I was up 41 to 50, so 9 points. I don't like it seeing retracing this far out, or as far back down. Another trader, full-time trader, took that 52.41s as well on the way up. So there's a bunch of us in on this. That VWAP, it really just kind of found resistance there. Tell me you're going to come all the way back down. It is what it is. It's okay. Take another position if I need to. You know, I'm risk free right now, so I'll still consider it a psychological win even if I break even, because, you know, I'm just gonna follow my plan. I'm not gonna move my stop loss that quick. I'm not gonna move it up, like take a, you know, 2 or 3 point win just to say I won, right? And then eventually goes back up and hits 52, 53. That's what usually ends up happening, is it ends up taking my original plan, take profit, but because I'm trying to be too conservative, I miss out on that move. Yeah, this is not a good sign. It's probably going to go all the way back down and tap the 42s to 52.41. Because we have some resistance here in the buying and stellar step in. We'll see. 52. I'm out. Triggered out for a small gain. So when we grab more liquidity at 52.40, there's a bunch of contracts down in there. Hard to say.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,240.25.
That's exactly what it's doing right now.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,239.75.
So push through
Sweep
that
ESM for
liquidity.
CME sellers at 50 to 39.
See if it finds a base here. And buyers step in. Oh, buyers are trying to step in here.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,238.75.
Not yet though.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50 to 36. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,235.75.
36s.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,235.5. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 37.
I think it's going to come down the 52.32s and grab this liquidity. Look at that. We got 3,100. Wow. Is that real? 3,100 contracts down here at 32.25. Okay. It might be real. That's what I'm be looking for. Wow. Yeah, I don't usually see that many contracts on the book. Look at that. 3,000 contracts sitting there. It's been on there for a while. That's a big I don't know, I didn't notice that. I normally see red is more than 200 contracts, but, or 300 contracts. So took in a long right here, low risk long here. Stop is right under this point, so I'm only risking 37, 35, risking 2 points. Only risking 2 points here. Two points for 12, so 6-1. Feeling it's going to just pop here.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 39.
There it goes. Can't see my other thing behind my. I'll put this up here for now. Buyers are definitely interested in this. You got some aggressive buying, but it also means there's sellers on the other side of the book still looking to push this lower. But I wouldn't want to be in a short right now, that's for sure. I feel like we're overextended. We've had a move. Sellers are going to turn into buyers at some point, and we're going to have a really strong move up when it moves.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 50 to 37.
Risking
Sweep ESM for CME sellers
points.
at 5,236.5.
Oh. Still pushing down. It stopped me out. Interesting. It already stopped me out. Well, there was a big sweep there. So there goes those contracts. They came off the book there.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,237.75. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,238.5.
Strong buying here.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,238.5.
Oh, that 3,100 contract's still there. That big. I'm just going to take my risk. It's small. I'm still very much bullish, just based on what is happening in the market. I'm taking another stab. So I've been stopped out twice. Again, 6 to 1. One was 4 to 1. I'm not invalidated. I probably just should have created a wider stop loss, but I'm taking such small 2-point stop losses. You know, so I'm in at 52.37 is where I'm at. My target is just above VWAP. So about 13 points.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers
so
at 50 to 41. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 41.
Even, so that's how I have to look at it. You have to pay to play. You're going to take risks, take small risks.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,241.75.
It's crazy. Yeah, that one big bid just stood down there.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 43.
Here's our move up. I think I should go back to my target 53. Just don't know exactly why I would do is doing that. I was doing it for VWAP at first. Okay, some good volume coming up here. Being up this much, I am moved my stop loss to break even. I'll be right back.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,244.5. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,244.75.
So I'm starting to see some resistance up here at 5246 is seeing some structure. Buyers trying to push higher, but finding resistance. Sellers on the other side of the book looking to either get into a position, sell order because of where we're at, how the momentum is in selling. So, but I'm not going to move my stop loss anywhere past break even. That goes all the way back down the break even, goes all the way back down the break even. I just feel like we're going to have a retracement here and buyers are going to step in strong. Sellers are just going to start feeling the pain. So that's where I'm at. So I'll probably
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,241.75.
Comment on it, but that's where I'm at. I'm just going to sit on my hands. This is just noise right now. Oh, I don't even have my... Sorry, I had my microphone down. So saw some resistance here. We got buyers trying to push up, finding absorption. What's interesting, you hardly see anything on the book, right? There's like just blue small contracts. There's hardly anything showing up on Bookmap right now. The vast space right now. So it's really interesting seeing that. And we see orders on the book popping in. There's some coming in, but it's just small. So the aggressive movers here are going to move, the aggressive initiators are going to move the market right now. There's still definitely liquidity sitting behind the book that Bookmap's not showing, because normally this type of buying, there's a lot of buying going on here, a lot of contracts coming in, so somebody's absorbing. There's still absorption in there going on. But the it's not as high as it normally is on liquidity on the book. Oh, I just had to zoom in a little bit more. Now it starts to pop out. It's interesting. Maybe it was just a little glitch with Bookmap. It wasn't showing it at that level. So I was zooming out. Just needed to refresh. Okay, so when I zoomed out, it doesn't show it, but when I zoom in a little bit, it starts to show the book a little bit. Interesting. I don't really see that very often. Normally it's pretty consistent.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,243.75.
I'm looking at a 1 minute. Usually don't go this low. Normally I'm only going as low
Sweep
as 2
ESM
minute
for CME buyers at 50
grids,
to 44.
2 minutes between each grid. I'm going to test this area again. 52.45, 52.46. All right, I'm just gonna sit my hands, watch the market do its thing. I'm in long from 52.37. The market can't go red on me because I'm just gonna take a break even trade if it does. Take another entry later.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,240.75.
Yeah, I don't like all this resistance. We got a lot of positive delta here. Like, look at all this positive delta, but yet we're not moving higher. So there's still some sellers sitting up here, grabbing liquidity on the way down. And all the way back down to the 40s now. I needed to just pop up here, find new buyers here to move this up.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,241.5. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 43.
We are testing this 52.45 zone again. See if it could break through. I could see a lot of push up at that point. I'm moving my stop loss just under this structure here. I feel like that's where we started finding more liquidity and buyers coming up. So I'm right under this area. So I'll take a 1.5 point gain, moving up a little bit just under this structure here. If it breaks this structure, I feel like it likely comes back down all the way back to 52.36s, 35s. I'm just curious if it wants to go all the way down to the 32s and grabs this liquidity, whatever this 3,000 is on the book, but that's very unusual. So at the very worst, I'm taking a 1.5 point gain. It's the only time I will consider moving up my stop loss, when I see structure and I can move it under structure. A really heavy structure. We got some structure here. I could have moved it there and then it would have stopped out, but to me that's not when it's hit again, hit a couple times. I feel confident moving up my stop loss under here. Now I really don't want to move it up anymore unless it pushes up and then finds another level of structure, maybe at VWAP, and then maybe I'll move it up here. That's kind of the only way I'll move up my stop loss. So we have some orders on the book.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,243.75.
So then they took themselves off. Still finding resistance here at the 52.45 level, 44, 45, 46. See if Bookmap will let me draw a rectangle here. So we've got to push through this. These sellers, passive sellers that are sitting on the book here, it's not showing up on Bookmap. See if I zoom in, it might show up. So the volume's there to push through. And if theory serves you right, you know, the more often it hits an area, the weaker it becomes. You're knocking out the wall, basically, of passive sellers every time you knock on the door, right? You just, you know, you have a battering ram and you're hitting this door, and as it absorbs more and more liquidity, the volume builds, we're going to see it break. I mean, right here, if it doesn't come all the way down here and it comes back up here, it's a good sign it's going to break through. Got a lot of positive buying delta here, aggressive buying. It just needs to get above this zone and pop up into here. 52.46, 52.47. Yeah, it needs to get above here. So my first, and we're finding sellers again. Not quite strong enough to push through yet. If I wanted to be more aggressive with my take profit, I was looking at the chart, and from the move, I could take it the
Sweep ESM for
Fibonacci,
CME sellers at
first Fibonacci level,
5,242.75.
added the 0.382 level from the drop overnight, would put me at 52.58. I'm tempted to make that my take profit. I mean, psychologically, I'd have to weather another 5 more points. It could go up and down on me before it hits there, but I feel like that is not a bad target. But from the drop from Monday the 1st, it didn't really correct back up to that level either. It came up just short of the 32-38 level and then continued to drop. So it's hard to say if it's going to do that again, but I like taking a target, especially if a big drop like this, taking it back up to the
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,246.5.
Profit. Or am I being too greedy? The battle of your psychological mind, right? Greed versus not taking it. So now we're pushing back up there. Let's see if we can push back above this 4,700 level. Take a big chunk out here of all these sellers. We're taking more and more liquidity, but it's not quite breaking through. We're kind of like, we can see holes on the other side of the wall, but it's not breaking through. And we're springing back. See these as little who's back. You take a big punch and then you step back, take a quick break, and then reload. And look at all this positive delta here. Buyers are really pushing on this. Tempted to put my stop loss under this.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,243.75.
But yeah, I think under here is fine. I really want to give this breathing room. It may reload a little bit. It may take a little bit to reload. If I see it break above VWAP, come up here in the 49s, 50s, then, you know, I've given it 6 points, 5-6 points under my next structure. Yeah, then I'll move my stop loss up another 2 points. Here we go again. Push, banging on that door. Come on, 47s. Look at that. It's just. Needs to push past this fishtail of volume here and go into this low volume node. So once, hold on 1 second, I'll be right back.
Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 43. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,241.5. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,239.5.
So I got stopped out because I moved my stop loss under this structure. Dips back down and then it goes back up. The one thing, frustrating thing would be is if it dips here and then it just pushes on up after it stops me out under this structure. I mean, I took a 1.5 point gain, but I don't want a 1.5 point gain. I want a 12 point gain. So my idea here is that it pushes back down and it comes back down to these 35, 36s to grab more liquidity before pushing up higher. But this is looking like a buy sign right here though. So this is why I don't like moving up my stop loss. If I would have kept it at my original break even, I would still actually be in this trade, as it looks like it's gonna base out here and then continue up, back up and test this 45, 46 zone again. But my plan is to let it come back down to 35, 34, 33 before I take it back up again. If it comes back down in this area, bases again, finds absorption, then and then buyer step in, I'll probably just enter back into the trade. So this is probably the most frustrating part of the trade, is being right but not being in the trade when you're right.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,245.25. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,244.25. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,246.75. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 48. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,247.25. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,245.5.
So we're finding the pushback over this 45, 46 area where we find a lot of positive delta pushed over it. I'm going to see if this sees it as resistance or we're going to push back down. That's what I'm curious in, because this was an area of a lot of resistance, buyers trying to push higher, couldn't break through, breaks through a little bit. Now we're coming back down here, see if we'll find it as support and continue higher. I've got a trade from back 52.41. I'm long from here. Yeah, so this is going to be key if it finds new buyers stepping in and reclaims this zone and VWAP. So that's what I'm watching out for right now.
Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,245.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,247.75. Sweep ESM for CME sellers at 5,245.75. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 5,241.5. Sweep ESM for CME buyers at 50 to 42.